Hello and welcome to KringleCon. This is Jack Daniel, and we're here as Santa has invited us to work together to avoid being hacked. Save Santa, save Christmas, make the world a happier place. I want to talk about community building and how we can work together to save Christmas and our jobs and all sorts of other things. So I am Jack. One of the people that makes B-Sides what it is, and also work at Tenable. Been doing a lot of community building for a very long time. It's a way that has really, things really made my career, but also my personal life a lot richer from the folks that I've met and interacted with through the decades. So let's start out with, what do we mean by community? Let's go to the boring dictionary definitions. A group of people living in the same place, not so much us, but a feeling of fellowship with others as a result of sharing common attitudes, interests, and goals. That's closer to it. We don't always have the exact same attitudes, interests, and goals, but in the hacker community, we share information. It's how we learn things. We play with things, we break things, we fix things, and then we learn the lessons and share, and we all advance from there. So why go to the effort of building community? What do we get from this activity that's good for us? Well, quickly, we share ideas. It's how we learn, as I said. It's how we grow. There's no better way to learn something than to try to teach it to somebody else. Share ideas. We spark conversations. As we have those conversations, we connect. We know who is doing what cool stuff. We know if there's somebody that might be able to give us a hand or someone that we can give a hand to, especially as that comes to advancing our careers. These things all work together. The bad guys are working together. We should work together too. Now, there are some challenges to building community, but we can overcome them. We have to address them before we can really dig into making the world better. The first one is, as many of you probably noticed, there isn't just one community. There are a lot of communities. I like to think of it more as anthropological, tribes and nations and clans down to family units. But unlike that sort of model, we get to be in multiples. We can choose what communities. Maybe you're hardcore cryptography, but you also like lock sport. Perhaps your day job is policy and compliance, but you really enjoy reverse engineering malware, but the PCI things pay you better. So we have a bunch of different categories of people that that come together, and we have some common interests. And these sometimes divide us, but what really works well is getting together. So those of us who call ourselves hackers, there are a lot of people who still identify hacker as bad. Mainstream media has really done a number to us, but a lot of us are proud to wear that label. A lot of us also are, InfoSec professionals, but many are hobbyists. Some like me work in vendor space as well as in the community. And there are more and more of us who straddle this divide. It used to be that not many people went to both DEF CON and RSA, but it's as the industry has matured. I don't want to say we've matured, that would be boring, but as the industry has matured, more of us cross this divide. But we also have the stratification between the trench level warriors and the various strata of management and executives. But we are best when we bridge these divides, and these are opportunities to learn. It's opportunities to understand as a manager or executive who is actually hands on keyboard fighting the bad guys, and the other way around. What is it that is driving your organization when you're in the trenches, so you understand how to move forward. And if you can share these ideas in community organizations, large and small, we all are better off. Another challenge in building community is this one. We're pretty much all overworked. And if you're trying to build a community or strengthen your local community, it takes some work. Someone's got to do the work. It doesn't happen magically. Sometimes a little bit of coordination goes a long way, and sometimes it takes a lot more coordination. Like putting on KringleCon, that took a lot of effort. And when we talk about community, a lot of this stuff is all volunteer work. And of course, the challenge of volunteer work, as Gandhi famously said, the problem with altruism is there's nothing in it for me. The reality is that we get a lot back out of volunteerism. There have been a couple of recent studies and things that have shown real value in this. But most of us get into doing these sort of things by learning something and wanting to share. That was my path into community. I landed as an IT admin and had to deal with security issues back in the 90s. Didn't know where to turn, joined some user groups, learned from people. Then I had some problems I managed to fix on my own. So I shared what I had learned. And that has been a story I've heard over and over and over again. We've learned from the community, and it's our turn to give back. So there actually is a lot. You feel great doing it. It is good for you personally and professionally. And so it's not really nothing in it for me. So there are some secrets to building community and some obvious things. We'll dig into this. So I can describe this in 6 words. My secrets to building community in 6 words. The first 3, give a darn. You are free to substitute stronger words as appropriate, but you have to actually care about it. This is true whether you're building community for purely goodwill purposes, if you're just trying to strengthen your local community, if you're trying to bring people together for whatever reason, or if you're doing it in a commercial setting, if you're working with the community manager in your corporation or your job. People have to care. If you're interested in things just for financial gain or for personal pride or ego, people will see that it's not about giving community. So we have to have people that really care. Luckily, in the hacker community, it is a passionate group. It is a good bunch of people. You find people that are like-minded, work with them. That can sometimes be difficult because we all, you may have noticed, a lot of us in the hacker crowd have some opinions, and they don't always line up, but it's a good exercise in learning how to work with people for a greater good or common good. So the first part, as I said, is give a darn, or whatever word you'd like to use. Moving beyond that, though, this is the part that is important. You need to give a voice to the people in the community that you're building or maintaining. You need to give them a platform to show what they know, share what they've learned, to be heard about the direction that your community is going. And here's the key part. You have to listen to them. You have to respond. You have to go in the direction that the community wants you to go. It's why, at every event you go to, we all beg you to fill out those feedback forms so we know how, which speakers were good, what went well, what didn't. We have to share what we've learned, and we have to move forward as a community. We have to give people a voice, let them be heard, and we have to listen to them. One of the things that I do both for B-Sides and for my work is I spend a lot of time talking to people, and that's insignificant. What I spend a lot of time doing is listening to people, taking that information back wherever it belongs, whether it's to a specific event or whether it's a specific community or trying to start an initiative, or in the corporate setting, maybe it's going back to your product management team or your support team or your marketing team to make sure that the messages are heard. In the community sense, it is to make sure that your group, whatever it is that you're doing, is actually doing what the people want, what your community needs and wants. So we have to listen to that voice, give people the opportunity to be heard and grow, and understand that if you let things go on their own, the little bit of shepherding, it becomes a very powerful community. It grows, people's careers advance. It's something that I've seen in the decades of doing this. It's really amazing to watch people come into small groups, be very timid, be welcomed into the group, and then discover that there are other people that have their weird interest. And it turns out it's not so weird. There are whole tracks at DEF CON, or their entire courses at SANS, or their B-Sides events where there's a lot of focus on whatever your interest is, whether it's data science or authentication or classic red team or physical pen test. We've seen people hacking elevators. You find those people, you find your people, you work together, you have a sense of friendship, a camaraderie. In many cases, people end up, as chosen family. And it all comes from giving people an opportunity to talk and listening to that and working together as a team. And so that's my short little spiel on building community. It's a matter of giving people a voice and listening to it. It's a matter of playing shepherd when you need to and guiding people through and letting the community grow and strengthen for all of us. So thank you for joining me, Jack Daniel, at KringleCon. And let's defend Santa, save Christmas, and make the world a better place. Merry Christmas.